Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of my Blood Elf Warlock Let's Play series, where we are continuing our adventures in Eversong Woods, where over the last 2 episodes I have begun exploring this zone, and we are approaching our journeys in the second zone, but we still have quite a bit of stuff to do here in Eversong Woods. More specifically, last episode we pretty much explored the entire western half of Eversong Woods, south of Silvermoon City, where we have this big eastern half area over here and some stuff in like the southern middle area, where I'm going to go ahead and begin exploring over here in the eastern half and just see where my adventures take me today, where we did pick up one quest, The Party Never Ends, from South Rose Haven right over here, where we need to get some spring paw appetizers all the way over here so we can cross the Dead Scar once again, and we can go ahead and venture past Silvermoon City, which I realized last episode I spent so much time exploring Silvermoon City, and in comparison to my time spent in the Exodar, I spent a lot more time than I did in the Exodar when I explore that in my Dragonfire War Let's Play series, just because I think Silvermoon is a lot more interesting and there's a lot more stuff going on, which is kind of unfortunate that the Exodar is definitely a little boring, albeit cool in some ways, but there's always the potential for it to be overhauled in the future. But as we come up here, we've already made it all the way over here to this building, where we see some guards out front and we see some people up there, and we just leveled up to level 14 as we explored the Far Strider Retreat. So let's go ahead and run into here where we have Lieutenant Dawnrunner, and we can complete this quest, and we can go ahead and fight some Amani trolls, where we have a quest over here where we can go ahead and get some hammers from the trolls. And let's go ahead and come up here really quickly where this man is next to some rifles, and we can go ahead and go to Dusk Wither Spire over there. And then I should go ahead and get my spring paw appetizers from the food and drink person, I believe. Where maybe it's not here. It is from this vendor. I just completely glossed over it, but we can go ahead and get that, and we have now completed this quest. Very really quickly, I should create a health stone, and we have a soul stone now. Stores the soul of the target party or raid member, allowing resurrection upon death. Target resurrects with 60% health and at least 20% mana. So let's go ahead and cast this on ourselves since we don't have any party members with us. So for the next 15 minutes, and it has a 10-minute cooldown, our soul is stored, and when we die we can go ahead and just click something in order to resurrect ourselves, which is nice. But let's go ahead and come this way, where we have some very interesting quests going on here, where we are going to fight some Amani trolls, which I've spent a lot of time over my different Let's Play series talking about the different troll empires, and it's cool to see some of these forest trolls of the Amani Empire around here, where we have an Amani Berserker and some axe throwers over there, and we can go ahead and deal with them. Where of course the Amani play a major part in this area of the world, where they are like the original inhabitants basically of this land, and then the High Elves, thousands of years ago, came into this area and basically conquered it and pushed the Amani trolls back. And over the centuries and millennia, we have seen the Amani gain power, the Amani lose power, the Blood Elf or High Elves gain power and lose power, and it's just been like a massive tug of war into this entire region. So it's interesting to be able to fight some of these Amani trolls because there's so much history with them in this area of the world, and there's like a blood splatter on the ground, and that's kind of cool. But we do have one quest over here where there is a troll in the cage that we can go ahead and chat with, where there is Spearcrafter Otombe right here, which we need to kill for the hammer, which he is definitely a little bit more powerful than the other trolls around here, but it shouldn't be anything that is too big of a deal. We got that. And let's go ahead and come into here and pick up this quest, where there is a Shadow Priest who we do not need to kill for any quests, but he will provide some experience, which is nice. And we can go ahead and just work on leveling up a little bit, which will be interesting to see what level I am at the end of my adventures. But He is a dark spear of the Horde, so we can go ahead and help out some of our Horde allies, where it looks like he was trying to meet with these trolls in order to communicate with them, but it did not end well for him. Where the Amani trolls are definitely very independent and don't trust the Dark Spears or the Horde at all, especially with the Blood Elves aligning themselves with the Horde. But we can go ahead and come over here and kill their chieftain. So let's go ahead and do just that. Where the Spearcrafter respawned already very quickly, and we're probably going to kill him maybe 1 or 2 more times as we come back over here. But let's just go over here very quickly. Where I really like this area right here, where we can see the Ghostlands off in the distance, where we are in Eversong Woods right here, and we have Lake Elrindar, and we have this like little waterfall right here. If I come over here, which I think this is where you go for that mage quest I was talking about at Elrindar Falls, and it just goes over this way and over towards the little pond area with the mages in front of Silvermoon City. And there are some lake snappers, some turtles just hanging out here. And we have like Zolmarosh and Torwatha over there. And then we have Zebwatha right over here. So like a few different parts of this entire troll area. And you can see off in the Ghostlands are some more troll buildings. And when we explore the Ghostlands, there's a very cool area of Zul Aman, which is the capital of the Amani Empire, which was a raid in the Burning Crusade expansion, and then got turned into a dungeon in the Cataclysm expansion, and it is still currently a dungeon in the Cataclysm expansion, and it's very cool, and I've highlighted a little bit on my channel, and I'm excited to explore the parts of it that are out in the Ghostlands once we get over there. But first, we are at a lower level area with the first trolls that we are fighting in our adventures here in Quel'Thalas with these simple Amani berserkers, and we have this hut right here where there's another shadow priest in here. Let's go ahead and deal with him, and then we need to go up that staircase right there, and we need to go to the top level to find Chieftain Zolmarosh, and we have to go ahead and get his head for our Dark Spear friend. So let's go ahead, sneak right here. And I think he typically has indeed a bunch of friends with him. So let's go ahead and just start dealing with this Shadow Priest. And I think we got a crit there. I didn't exactly see, but that definitely dealt a lot of damage. Let's go ahead and deal with this Berserker. And then I think, let's go ahead and try to do a little bit of a rotation on the Chieftain. Let's go ahead and do Shadow Bolt, and then Corruption, and a Curse of Weakness, and then let's go ahead and just cast a bunch of Shadow Bolts, because he does have a ton of health, so this is definitely worth it to debuff him a little bit, because we're going to deal a lot of extra damage, and it's going to be even more worth it. But we got a quest right here, Amani Invasion. Though you don't understand the language in these battle plans, you clearly make out a map marking the positions of the Farstrider Retreat and Fairbreeze Village. You'd best let Lieutenant Dawnrunner at the Farstrider Retreat know about this. So let's go ahead and accept that. And when we look at our quest to kill some of the trolls around here, it looks like we need to kill 4 more axe throwers and 1 more berserker. And we need to go back over here to turn in this quest, but let's go ahead and just progress this a little bit first. We have this like a little path through the river right here, which is very cute and allows us to get across to the other side without having to get our robes wet, which is nice. Let's just sneak right here. Let's see if we grab his attention. We grabbed 2 other trolls' attention. Let's go ahead and complete this quest and turn that in, and that is everything. We're not freeing him, we're just going to leave him there. But we did get a wand, which in retail World of Warcraft, Warlocks can only have 1 item type equipped, and we can only have a staff equipped, which I think is maybe actually not the best option. So let's go ahead and pick the wand, because that has 13 intellect and 3 stamina, which is quite a bit, but it deals a little bit less damage, except we don't really need to deal damage at all. Mary, if we come into our... oh, there's an axe thrower there. Let's come into our spell book here, where I do have some talents to look at. And if we look at general, I'm not sure if there's a shoot ability, or if we just like if we right click on our enemy, we can go ahead and just shoot by using our wand. And this is a ranged ability, Where in like the Burning Crusade and in vanilla World of Warcraft, of course, we saw with like my human mage character where we could have a staff equipped and we could have a wand equipped and a wand slot. But in retail World of Warcraft, we can only have one or the other, and I think it's probably best if you just pick the best stats. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this wand equipped for now. But as we saw right there, I was not dealing a lot of damage with it, where it just deals 1 damage per second compared to the 6 to 8 damage every 2 seconds from our Shadow Bolt ability. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with Shadow Bolt, and let's go ahead and follow this road back down to the Farstrider Enclave, which I guess I still need to fight a Berserker, so let's grab this guy. And let's go ahead and blow him up with a couple of Shadow Bolts and a Shadow Priest. So let's go ahead and use our Shadow Bolt against the Shadow Priest with our Void Walker. I don't know what I was going for there. Or the Farstrider Retreat, not the Farstrider Enclave. There is another area that we will be exploring soon enough. But let's go ahead, turn this in, get some gold, and get some gold here. And now we can go ahead and warn Fairbreeze Village about the trolls. But let's come over here and let's go ahead and turn into this quest about the hammer. And we can pick... I'll just pick the staff to sell it for a little bit more copper, I guess. And we just leveled up to level 15, which is exciting. And we have now completed all the quests related to the trolls, except for returning to Fairbreeze Village, where we have another area over here that we can go ahead and explore. So let's run up this way. Where a really fun thing about the Blood Elves is how magical they are as a society, where that's really the reason why they exist, is because the Night Elves did not want to practice magic anymore and the High Elves did, and they disagreed, so the High Elves left and founded their own kingdom where they could practice magic. And because of that, we can see some pretty cool things, such as like this floating spire right here, where we have this apprentice so we can go ahead and chat with, where let's go ahead and complete that. And we can deactivate the spire because there are some magical issues going on here. And we can go ahead and find the groundskeeper, where there's quite a bit around here that we can do. And I think there's actually a quest to kill these elementals here, these arcane elementals. But let's go ahead and run down this way really quickly, where I want to avoid them. And there are quite a few of them. And this is just a gorgeous area here in the northern eastern kingdoms, where it's just like a massive like kind of like tower complex up there, and then some like beautiful grounds right here where we have the groundskeeper, and we can go ahead and deal with these arcane elementals now, where we have to deactivate the spire. So let's go ahead and enter the spire using a translocation orb. But we need to go ahead and clear our way up there first, where we just have some Ether Fiends and some Mana Serpents. Where I think a lot of people particularly like this area because of the cinematic trailer for the Burning Crusade, where it showed a Blood Elf consuming the mana of a Mana Serpent, and it was at like an area very similar to this area. So I think some people just have like some inherent nostalgia with this place because of that. So up these steps here, we have this orb of translocation. We can use translocate, and it sends us up here where we see some of these arcane creatures and some wretched, where I think in the first episode of this Let's Play series I mentioned the wretched are wretched because they are not consuming enough arcane magic, but I think it might be because they consume too much. I'm not entirely sure. It might be both, but let's go ahead and clear our way through here, where we can go ahead and deal with these Mana Serpents and a ton of wretched, where we just need to make our way up there, but we do have a good variety of enemies to kill along the way, where there are some power sources we need to deactivate as we do so. So let's go ahead and begin clearing out this room, and as we do so, let's go ahead and take a look at our talent tree here, because I just leveled up twice, so I got 2 talent points, and then I got 2 talent points at the end of the last episode, so I have a lot of talents to go through. So starting with Warlock, let's go with this. Let's go ahead and just add another talent point there, and now we can go ahead and do Demonic Circle, where we can teleport to its location, and we just put it down somewhere in the world, and it just sits there for a little bit, which I think is really, really cool, but maybe not really good for us right now. And we could get Curses of Enfeeblement, where we can reduce casting time by 30% or reduce target's movement speed by 50%. Where, let's look at this. Let's go ahead and just go with Demonic Circle. And then over here, we can get Dreadstalkers and Implosion. I think I want both. So let's go ahead and get all of this. Where we learned Demonic Circle, but we need to get it from our spell book down here potentially. Here we go. So we can put Demonic Circle there and Demonic Circle Teleport. So if I were to just like place this here, for example, and then let's go ahead, run in here, let's grab all of their attention, and then I think I can go ahead and use this, and you can't do that yet. Maybe, oh wait, let's come over here. Okay, I was just too far away. But now I'm like back here and my Voidwalker is all the way over there, grabbed all their attention, and now we're far away. And let's go ahead and blast away with our Shadow Bolt. So definitely like a very situational ability, and it can be fun to use. And I believe it's technically one of the most important abilities in all World of Warcraft when it comes to like high level arena gameplay, like player versus player, like 3v3. And high level raiding, where players in Race to World First can basically put like a gateway down there that other people can use, and that is incredibly important to move around like a boss's arena to work around various mechanics. But let's come up to here where we have a Mana Serpent, and let's go ahead and call some Dreadstalkers, which lasts for 12 seconds, and we can see we just got some like wolf friends with us basically, and they're going to attack our enemy, and they're going to help us deal with the enemy by just dealing some damage. Alright, let's go ahead and deactivate this, and then we have Implosion, where demonic forces suck all of your wild imps towards the target and then cause them to violently explode, where we need to get wild imps, which if I'm being honest, not entirely sure how we get wild imps. Okay, we will learn a variety of ways to summon them in the future, but we have this journal right here that we can go ahead and take back to the Farstrider retreat. And let's go ahead and come up here where we have a lone apprentice just hanging out here, and we have the final crystal that we need to find in order to deactivate this structure, and we have another orb of translocation. Where I really like this area because it's kind of like a dungeon in the open world where you like enter the area and then you work your way through this area, and then at the end you can go ahead and teleport back to the start. And I think that's always fun to see things like that in the open world, where elite areas, and I did not click on the right thing, let's go ahead and translocate down, but elite areas in like vanilla are always like open world dungeons where they're very intimidating and oftentimes require a group of players in order to progress through, and can be pretty fun. Where let's come back down towards the groundskeeper, and here is a Mana Serpent we can go ahead and fight. And I just love all the different flowers around here. We got some various yellow ones and blue ones and white ones all around here, and like a ton of yellow ones just like on the ground. But let's go ahead, return to the groundskeeper, complete this quest, and now we have a quest to return to the entrance of this area and a quest to return to the Farstrider retreat, where I just ran through a bunch of enemies and it looks like they have left me. Let's go ahead and continue with this, and now we can go ahead and return to the Farstrider retreat for another quest. So we have a total of 2 quests to turn in here, where I think upon turning in these 2 quests we will have completed like the eastern half of Eversong Woods. So definitely a little bit faster, some less stuff going on compared to the western half, because we have like the Sunset Anchorage and all the Murlocs in this area down here, but still quite a bit of stuff, and we still have quite a bit of stuff in the southern areas. Now let's go ahead and go past these guardians, and I just love how this entire area is decorated. There's so many cool like different things like the ballistae and like the banners there and the braziers and like these rifles just hanging out here. Now let's go ahead and turn in this quest where we get some really good robes. Let's go ahead and turn in this quest as well, where we have leveled up to level 16, and let's equip the Fallen Apprentice's robes, and they look very cool. They look very like Night Elven, and we have a bunch more intellect and stamina now. Let's go ahead and use our Hearthstone to return to Fairbreeze Village, where I have 3 quests to do right here and a quest to do over there and a couple of things down here. I think first let's return to South Heroes Haven, but we did get a new Warlock talent point, so we can increase attack speed of your primary pet by 5% using Demonic Circle, Teleport, or your Demonic Gateway. Reduces all damage you take by 4% for 10 seconds. So I guess those are like 2 different abilities. And then Wrathful Minion increases the damage done by your primary pet by 5%. So both of these just increase their damage. Let's go ahead and do that maybe, where we can get Demonic Gateway down there, which might be cool. So we have that, and now we can go ahead and take a look at these in the future, where let's come down here to South Heroes Haven, and here's Lord South Hero, and we can go ahead and turn this in and get South Heroes Haven Party Invitation. So this is a really fun item that you can get from doing the quest around here, where it allows the bearer full access to everything that the party at South Heroes Haven has to offer. So we can go ahead and like chat with the party goers here, where they are just like talking about random things that like rich blood elves would be talking about. But if we come around here, we can find some sun-touched special reserve that we can go ahead and pick up, and it's just an alcoholic beverage we can drink. We can find these spring paw appetizers that we can go ahead and eat, and it actually restores health. And then I think there might be fireworks somewhere that we can go ahead and interact with, and we can launch them to look at fireworks in the sky. But let's go ahead and come back towards Fairbreeze Village, because we need to warn the village about the Amani troll threat. And then from there, I think we can go ahead and begin progressing into southern Eversong Woods, which is exciting. So let's go ahead and just zip over here. And the person we have to talk to is our ranger friend, where we can go ahead and get 1 more armor on our boots, which is fun. And let's go ahead and run this way to a new area that I have not been to yet, along the southern/eastern southeastern road out of this area, where we have this ranger here who we can go ahead and chat with. And now she has a quest for us to kill some undead, where we can see that some undead are continuously approaching Fairbreeze Village, and I think there's supposed to be rangers here that are shooting at them, but that's not currently happening. And the ranger here is giving instructions, where we have like a barricade right here, where there's some bliste, and then we can see some corpse wagons over here of the Scourge, where this one's currently on fire. And this entire area is kind of just like destroyed right now, and there's like a bunch of undead walking around, and I think it's a little buggy. But we can go ahead and walk over this way, where we can see the Dead Scar once again with some more undead, where we have the sanctum over here, the East Sanctum. So we've explored the North and the West Sanctum over here. Let's go ahead and try to get past them this way. This ghoul's attacking us, that's okay. Where we need to go ahead and talk to this apprentice, because we have a quest to do here. We're going to go ahead and complete this, and then we can go ahead and try to figure out about the energies around here and the ley lines that were disrupted because of Arthas. So let's go ahead and get some soil samples, where we see a blood thistle right there, but we can kill some undead as we do so. Yeah, this entire area is definitely really interesting, because we have right outside Fairbreeze Village, seems to be bugged. There's a ghoul stuck in that rock right there. We explored the living wood right over here, and then all the ghouls are like continuously casting one of their abilities. So kind of expected in like the retail client of World of Warcraft, because this area is so old, and that ghoul just disappeared. So let's fight this anger shade here, where we need to find some dark wraiths, which might be further south, that we can go ahead and find. And this anger shade's attacking me here as well, and just a bunch of soil samples all around here. But it's cool to see like all the different corpse wagons that are like destroyed just scattered along here, plus all the bones on the ground. Or of course, if you played Warcraft 3 and you were making the Dead Scar basically in Warcraft 3, you had a bunch of corpse wagons with you, and of course you lost some every now and then as the High Elf forces tried to defend themselves against you as you marched through these lands towards the Sunwell. And I think that's kind of fun because you actively participated in carving out this area of the world, which is something we see in like the entirety of like Warcraft 3 coming into World of Warcraft, where like the final campaign, the bonus campaign for Warcraft 3, the Frozen Throne, was the founding of Durotar, where you literally participate in building the Horde's capital city of Orgrimmar, which I think is really cool because then you can explore Orgrimmar in World of Warcraft. And I think that's just something that's really fun about like World of Warcraft and like the earlier days of World of Warcraft, because so much of the world is directly influenced from the events of Warcraft 3, where we see with future expansions, those expansions events are influenced by the previous expansions of World of Warcraft, which is great. But there's just something that's like very, very interesting about like the Warcraft 3 campaign going into World of Warcraft and how the world is. Like Splinter Tree Post, for example, and Ashenvale, if you ever play through Ashenvale as a member of the Horde, is a settlement that you basically build in Warcraft 3, or it's actually the Warsong like lumber mill area that you technically build, I think. Let's go ahead and turn in this quest where she is examining this, and I think I have a slight memory of what happens here, where we have a new quest where we need to protect her from a scourge ambush, where we have Garsul the Remorseless here. Let's go ahead, call our Dreadstalkers, and they just leaped at our enemy right as they spawn, which that was really, really cool. So let's go ahead and deal with this guy, and then a couple of Anger Shades as well. Let's go to fight this more powerful enemy, where we just got a proc where we could use our Demon Bolt twice for free, which I don't remember where I got that proc ability from, but that is very nice. So that just deals a ton of damage, where we can now return to Fairbreeze Village with the notes. But I need to kill 4 Dark Wraiths, so let's go ahead and run down here and do that. And I can go ahead and pick a new thing here. Where? Let's go ahead and pick either more damage, or we could get an Imp Gang boss. Let's go ahead and, I just had a voice crack there, apply that. Where the next one, you passively summon a wild imp to fight for you every 12 seconds. We get that next, or in 2 levels technically, because we're going to get a Warcraft talent. So we have that to look forward to, and then we can start using some of our like implosion abilities and other talents that we have picked. It's kind of interesting that we get that after we get like some of these, but alas. 1 Dark Wraith dealt with, which ends our quest. Alright, let's go ahead and leave the Dead Scar here for now, where we do have some quests over here that we can do. But let's run back to Fairbreeze Village for just a moment, where we can go ahead and turn in all of these quests, where we defended the village, and then we also got some research notes. Let's be careful of the undead right there. And let's go ahead and turn in this quest, where we can get some gold, and then we can go ahead and report to the Rune Warden over here for a new quest. Where let's go ahead and run down this way, where we have the Magistrix, the leader of Fairbreeze Village. At least I believe she's the leader, and we can go ahead and turn in this quest. And now we only have like 1 big area left to explore, or maybe like technically 3, but we have this area right here. Alright, let's go ahead and run this way, and first things first, let's go ahead and chat with the Rune Warden, because I think that's going to be good for us to do first, because this quest is to go into the Ghostlands, which is the 2nd zone for the Blood Elves, and maybe we might even do it this episode, or I thought maybe next episode, but I think we can go ahead and explore the earliest areas of the Ghostlands here. But first, let's come over this way, where we have the rune stones that we can find throughout this area of the road that were incredibly important for the defense of Quel'Thalas, but they were deactivated during the events of Warcraft 3 because of a traitor. Where we have this runestone here that we can go ahead and turn in this quest, and then we can go to another runestone and we can go ahead and try to retain its powers, or reinstill its powers rather, so we can kind of reactivate it to help defend this area against the Scourge. Where this is a really cool site where we have this runestone here, the Ghostlands off in that direction, and then we can see across the Dead Scar we have this runestone over here. So let's go ahead and sneak past this way, and we can come up towards the runestone where we have this like little path here with these fences, and we've got like a bunch of like barrels and crates and stuff right there, which is interesting. And we can see kind of an older high elven village there that has a bunch of cobwebs, but we can come through this like arch right here, which is very cool looking. And let's go ahead and place down this infused crystal, and we are now going to be attacked by enraged wraiths, which we can go ahead and deal with, and we have to defend this area for 1 minute, which, if I'm being honest, I'm not sure if it's always been a minute or if it's just like how it kind of feels in the moment, but defending this infused crystal always feels like it takes a very, very, very long time, and you just have to hang out here for a very long time. So let's go ahead and just hang out here. Where there it goes. The infused crystal releases the last of its energies into the nearby runestone, successfully reactivating it. So that definitely feels a lot faster than how it was back in the day. So maybe it got changed, or maybe I just have really bad memory. But let's go ahead and run back across the Dead Scar again, where we can turn in the quest over here, and we can see where our questing takes us next, because we might get sent back to Eversong or back to Fairbreeze Village. We'll just have to wait and see. I definitely really like this mount. I think it's very cool looking. Of course, we got that classic Strider screech. But let's go ahead and run back down this way, where if you look off into the distance, we can see some night elf tents, which is going to be something we will have to deal with in the future. Well, let's go ahead and turn in this quest, and it looks like that is everything here. Let's go ahead and return back to the road right over here, where it looks like we only have one quest, and that is missing in the Ghostlands. So I think at the end of the episode here, let's go ahead and come over here, and we can go ahead and get started with the Ghostlands and set ourselves up for a lot of questing next episode, where we have the road that goes directly through the Dead Scar here, and then we can come here where we see an undead of the Forsaken and this courier, where we can see this undead as a member of Tranquillian. Let's go ahead and complete this quest, and she is an apothecary, where we can go ahead and try to heal the courier. So let's get 4 plagued blood samples, where we have this building right here that's a little mossy, and we have this well right here with a couple of blue mushrooms growing right next to it. And let's go ahead and go across this bridge, and let's enter the Ghostlands, which, as we see behind us, Eversong Woods is a very beautiful and tranquil area. And while Ghostlands looks similar to Eversong Woods in many, many ways, it is less than peaceful and less than tranquil, and this entire area is just very corrupted, where we have some plagued creatures all around here who are suffering from the corruption of the undead. Where let's go ahead and deal with some of these ghost claws, and we got some mist rats around here, and I think there's like some plague hounds potentially that we can go ahead and defeat and just get some blood samples. Which, if you take a look at our map, we need to kill plagued creatures to get this blood, and if we look at the map of the Ghostlands, we can basically find plagued creatures everywhere. So there are a lot of them that we can deal with, but we can just kill the ones near the start here for this quest. where there are some ghost claws, and we can see some Amani tints up there, but we can see a really cool waterfall right here, which I actually like a lot.
I need to get closer.
And there are a ton of starving ghost claws here, so I guess let's just work our way around this area, and then I really just need to kill a bunch of them, and they have a chance to drop some blood, and we'll see if we get lucky or not. Where as I attack this one, my minion retargets it, and I can tell him to like attack this one if I want, but then we can just cast one more shadow bolt there, and I got 2 plague blood samples, which is very lucky, so I just need 1 more, and then we can go ahead and go back across the bridge, and we can help out this courier. So we can complete this quest here, and now the courier is up, and we can go ahead and deliver the letter from Silver Moon to Tranquillian. So let's go ahead and pick this up, where we cannot read the letter, but we can go ahead and deliver it to Tranquillian. So here in Eversong Woods, our main base of operations was Fairbreeze Village, and as we come into Ghostlands, we have Tranquillian, which is our main base of operations. But we can see we gained reputation with Tranquillian, and this is a really interesting thing that was added with the Burning Crusade and in this area of the world, where the Blood Elves can gain reputation with the town of Tranquillian and can unlock special items from a reputation vendor. Here, let's go ahead and report to the Arcanist here, and we can go ahead and deliver this, where we can get some bracers and a bag, which, let's see, I have all the bags that I currently need, but this is a 6-slot bag, so I could replace one of those bags there just to get a couple of extra slots, and then we can upgrade this, where we can ask the Arcanist, what are the Forsaken doing here? Where he says the situation is more grim than many have been led to believe. The Forsaken are here as allies in the fight against our common enemy, the Scourge. Trust me when I say this, without them the Ghostlands would be lost, and the Scourge would already have overrun all of Eversong Woods, but more than anything else, we need your help in reclaiming our once proud lands.
Keep your wits about you.
Where we can go ahead and pick up the quest, the Forsaken, to report to the High Executor Mavrin, who is in this building right over here, where we have this Dragonhawk Master who used to give a quest to send you to Silvermoon City to teach you about flight paths, but that quest got moved up here to Fairbreeze Village, where we can see the northern eastern kingdoms here, where there are just a lot of flight paths all around here, and it's cool to kind of explore and see like all the different map art, like the Dark Portal and Stormwind all around here. But let's come into this building, where we can see Blood Elves and Forsaken, where this town is basically an alliance of the Blood Elves and the Forsaken, which of course is an alliance that makes quite a bit of sense given their history with each other and how they both hate the Scourge. Where we can go ahead and complete this, and then we can return back to the Arcanist over here, and we have a quest to report to some Far Striders over here at this lake. Where let's go ahead and return to the Arcanist down here, where we can go ahead and complete this quest, and I think this quest is going to unlock a lot of stuff for us. So we can go ahead and kill 10 Rubus guards, and then return here, where it looks like we don't have any of the quests around here that we can pick up just yet, and I'm kind of forgetting about when we specifically unlock them, where the Ghostlands is available for us to quest in. And we have these 2 quests up here that we can go ahead and do, but I think I'm going to go ahead and do them next episode. Where as far as this episode goes, I had a lot of fun finishing up our adventures in Eversong Woods, and we did our first couple of quests here in the Ghostlands, and we can go ahead and come to Suncrown Village and deal with some of the new Rubus guards next episode. So I hope you return and watch that episode as we continue exploring this very cool zone in this very cool area of the world. But I hope you all enjoyed watching, and I hope you all are taking good care of yourselves. Remember, as always, to drink some water, check your posture, and subscribe. I'll see you all next time in the world of Azeroth. Goodbye.